Lack of or poor support at home is one of the big reasons why people tend to leave the party plan industry, and to me that's a real shame because I don't think it's always necessary. Unfortunately, it is something that's quite common in the industry, but does seem to be something that's not often talked about. So today I want to be right out there and I want to talk about it just in the hope that it might help somebody that's finding things a bit of a challenge. Some of you may be leaders in your business and you're looking for ideas to help some of your team members, because if you can help them with this challenge, it might help retain them in your business a bit longer and help them to be a bit more successful as well. Or you could be someone who's quite frustrated with your situation and you're just looking for some ideas and thoughts that might help you yourself. So let's jump into it and get started. Now, before we can expect anyone else to support us, we really need to learn to support ourselves first. And in many ways, I really do believe that we can be our own worst enemies. So just to get started for this session, let's think about some of the ways that we commonly can be quite unsupportive to ourselves. Just write it into the questions box and Sheree will be able to tell us what you've written and we will write them up onto the sheet.
Rochelle says she takes on too much.
Okay, so you get really tired, don't you, and you get overwhelmed, I guess is the word for that.
Lynn, not asking for help.
Okay.
Trying to do everything yourself.
That's quite common as well. We seem to think that we should be able to do it ourselves, and whether it kills us or not, we're going to have a go at it.
Here's another one, thinking we have to do everything perfectly.
Okay, perfection.
Juggling all our hats. Perfectly.
Juggling.
And Jackie said feeling guilty when we take time out for ourselves.
So guilt about taking time out. I'm sure there's lots more as well, but there's a good start. We're going to talk about some of these as we go through today. So it is really easy to put everyone else first and just forget that if we're not in good shape ourselves, we actually can't be effective in any part of our lives at all. So part of this is needing to learn to get out of our own way. And I don't think it's a secret that women especially seem to often have a habit of putting themselves last. And somebody mentioned before that they feel guilt about taking time out because we can feel that it's being selfish, but in actual fact it's not selfish at all. It's probably the best thing that we could do for the people that are close to us, because they're going to benefit from us being relaxed and happy and less stressed. So in actual fact it's important for the people around us, not selfish at all. So it's a good thing to try and switch in your head a little bit. When your family and your friends are seeing you exhausted and hassled and grumpy, they're going to start resenting your business and they're going to feel less inclined to be supportive as well. So the first step to better support from those around us is to be healthy and happy, physically as well as emotionally. And I know that that might sound easier said than done, but let's see if we can come up with some ideas that we can use today. I know that you're not going to want to try everything that we talk about, but if you can end up with one or two things that you could try, that would be great. So let's spend some time thinking about, instead of being our own worst enemies, how instead we could possibly be our own best friends. So some ways that we can start to be better friends to ourselves are things like taking care of number one, which is ourselves obviously, learning to say no, and learning to ask. And we're going to talk about those things first, and once we've talked a little bit about being our own friend, we're going to then talk a little bit about working better with our partners and getting better support from our partners. So, taking care of number one. Now, this is obviously not rocket science. We know all this stuff. I'm just stating the obvious here, but sometimes it needs to be stated. So I'm going to put a list up on the screen now that's just for all of us to have a think about. And these are some of the areas that we need to start taking better care of ourselves. And trust me, this is not stuff that we don't know. Health, obviously, looking after our health, and that means exercising, eating, sleeping, all the things we know about. Taking time out, we need to refresh and we need to recharge, because if we don't, everything just seems so much harder than it needs to be and we become less able to do things efficiently and well. So when we're clear in the head, we do things better, faster and happier. So just with that thought in mind, with the recharging thought, what are some of the ways that you have that are your favourite ways to recharge? Just type into the questions box your favourite ways and let's see what everybody gets up to.
Okay, what are we? Reading a book, sitting down for a good read, going out for coffee with friends. Rochelle likes to have a soak in the bath. Adrian, this is a good one. She likes to sit down and watch a movie with the kids, like a kids movie, I think she means.
So far, everything that's been suggested doesn't really cost anything and doesn't take much time. So isn't that good? Because it doesn't really take very long to recharge. Obviously, there are other things you can do, like go on a holiday and things, but mostly you can do it quite easily and quite quickly. So one of the things that I like to have a 9-day fortnight, where once a fortnight, instead of working Monday to Friday and Monday to Friday in the fortnight, I'll work Monday to Friday and Monday to Thursday. And the second Friday is always my day off. And it's planned in advance, it's crossed out in my diary, it's an appointment, it can't be changed. And on that day I have what I call a could day instead of a should day. So what that means is that anytime I say should, I am not going to do that thing. So if I say I should take the dog for a walk, then I'm not going to do it because it's a should, and I'm having a could day. If it's I could take the dog for a walk, then I'll do it because it's something that I actually want to do. So I have a day off, and it's a weekday when there's nobody in the house, kids are at school. I can completely have it to myself. So I like to do that. Some people find taking one whole day off too much. So in which case, can you take half a day off, or can you take an hour off? Can you just take yourself out for coffee, either with friends or by yourself, just a couple of times a week? Whatever it is, it needs to be something that helps you to recharge. We need to be positive, and in doing that, maybe we need to look around at the people that we hang around with. So if you think about the people that you spend a lot of time with, are they uplifting or are they depressing? And is that something that you need to think about? You know, it's difficult to be happy and positive if the people that you spend most of your time with aren't. And I guess the flip side of that is that we also need to think about, what are we like? Are we somebody that people want to be around? Are we fun, happy and positive? So that's something to think about, and it can make a big difference because your state of mind does affect every part of your life. We need to talk nicely to ourselves, and this is another one of those things that women are particularly bad at. I presume men probably are as well, but we tend to talk about it a little bit more. We've all got a voice in our head, and this voice is sitting in the back of our head telling us that we're no good, that we'll never get anywhere, why are we even bothering trying, and you're useless, and all the rest of it. And this thing's sitting in the back of our head talking to us all day long. And what we need to be able to do is turn that thing off. We could even give it a name, and I call mine Fred. Everyone's got this voice, and it could be louder for some people and not as loud for others. But what I like to do is notice when Fred's talking to me. So instead of just going into a downward spiral and not knowing how you got into that spiral, if at the beginning you can say, "Oh, Fred, there you are, busy talking to me in the back," I have this imagination in my head that I'm sort of saying to him, okay, well, thank you very much for your input. You're actually not needed right now. You can go into the corner and read a book for a while I get on with my life. Thank you very much. So notice Fred and know that Fred is not you. He's a trickster. He's playing games with you, and you can tell him to be quiet. But you need to talk nicely to yourself and not put yourself down, and be kind to yourself. We also need to not be superwoman, and know that we can't do it all. It's not good for us, and it's not even possible. So just remember, everything does not have to be perfect, and we don't have to say yes to everything. Now, this list is a list of things that we all know we should do, but I'm pretty sure that we don't do them all, and we might not even do many of them. The funny thing about the list is that a lot of us even lecture our family and our friends about this stuff. We tell our family and friends that they need to take time out, they need to look after their health, they need to be positive, they shouldn't try and do everything. But the funny thing is that we don't listen to ourselves. We don't take our own advice. We're good at giving it out, but we're not good at taking it ourselves. So let's just have a quick look at the list. Have a look at the list and choose the one thing that you think you probably need to work on most.